All right. So dark greetings, everybody. This evening's class is Sith, Rede, and Sith Sorcery Part 2. We will be discussing the last 15 reads this evening about the Sith, which are basically principles or guidelines that we live by as Sith. And we'll be going over, again, kind of briefly touching on how to utilize the sorcery aspect of Sith. For people who are not aware, the Sith had different classes or different groups. You had your Sith warriors, which were basically the more aggressive, frontline, battle-tested soldiers. Then you had your Sith Inquisitors. Your Sith Inquisitors were basically sorcerers or people who were a combination of warriors and sorcery. The two combined together, they became more of your Sith. I can't remember the exact name. But anyways, they dealt with that. That's what Sith Inquisitors felt. So you have two routes. Okay, keep this in mind because as we go forward, for those who are going to be into the Sith classes, you're going to eventually have to choose which path you want to take. The Sith Warrior class or pass, and the Sith Inquisitor. The Sith Inquisitor, like I said, is more about sorcery. It's still about learning how to utilize your lightsaber, dagger, sword, whatever it is that you feel more comfortable with. And it's also about more battle-tested program, meaning more of the art of war, more actual training regimens on actual combat, things of that nature will be going over in the Sith Warrior class. The Sith Inquisitors is going to be going over the warrior aspect, but goes into the sorcery aspect on how to actually utilize sorcery for your benefit, for your greater gain in this life, but also it comes with a warrior and a sorceress aspect. So that's the Inquisitor. So eventually you're going to have to choose the two, or out of one of the two, okay? Keep in mind, like I was saying before I started recording, Sith challenges are designed to test your mind, body, and spirit. They're there purposely to test yourself. It's not me testing you, it's you testing yourself to see if you really are this current, the dark side current. All right? So, hold on, let me mute everybody. So keep that in mind, all right? The challenges are there designed for that specific purpose. Then when you finish with the challenges, that's when you actually will be able to choose which path you want to go, the warrior or the Inquisitor path. And based upon that, that's where your training begins. You're actually going to be trained how to be a Sith, how to work the Sith, how to use combat skills, how to use sorcery combat skills, which a lot of people are not familiar with, but there is sorcery combat skills, okay? And you actually have to learn how to master that aspect as well. We will be dealing with necromancy in the Sith classes, okay? The reason why is because all Sith dealt with necromancy on some shape, form, fashion, or level. There was higher level of Sith that when they wanted to increase their power for whatever the purpose was, they would actually call upon past Sith, deceased Sith, and either control them, but more often than not, bind the spirit to them, okay? Now, this, you have to really get prepared for those kind of things because that could be risky when you bind the spirit to be a part of you. So they would bind the spirit to embody the energy, the characteristics, the consciousness, and their skills when they were alive to themselves, okay? So that's a Sith necromancy. Then it deals with Sith alchemy and how to actually do alchemy within yourself, the actual spiritual alchemy or mental alchemy for, to yourself, okay? So keep those things in mind as we go forward. A lot of the classes, the Vampyre class is about to wrap up soon. We're going to do a part 2 down the road, but before that, we're going to do shadow classes. But my main focus right now is going to be shadow classes and the Sith for those who are interested in that. All right. Also, I have a second channel for those who are interested in that. This video will be up on the main channel, the Black Serpent Clan, and then it's also going to go up on the second channel, which is Darth Ravana Noon, which is the Sith channel for Sith classes, things of that nature. So subscribe, check that out as well. And that's going forward. So let's get into this evening, dealing with the Sith Rede. If you haven't heard the first 15 Rede, then please go back and watch last week's video, which we discussed that in there. So we're going to start from number 16 on to the end, okay? And then from there, we're going to go over sorcery again and see if anybody has additional questions on Sith Sorcery or anything that we're going to go over this evening. So let's begin. Number 16. The Sith must be grounded in reality. Not space cadets, not zooming out, not tripping, grounded in reality. All right? Even as it is our quest to contemplate our true selves and our relation to the cosmos and strive to gain strength in the force, we must not neglect the physical aspect of our existence. This is why I've been basically going over this a lot lately, because what we've noticed walking on the left-hand path specifically is individuals are starting to bring a lot of this space cadet crap into the left-hand path and getting away from what the true purpose is. That true purpose is to master yourself. Not master one aspect of yourself, the spiritual, which many people tend to do. And for years that I've been walking the conscious and the spiritual path all the way to the occult left-hand path, I've noticed that people focus too heavily on the spiritual and forget of their physical existence. Now, there's reasons that that may be. Sometimes people focus more on the spiritual to escape a life that is filled with bullshit, okay? Or they do that because for them, they have no other means to feel great about themselves because of their issues from the past. And it could be various other issues. But the fact is, you should never neglect your physical existence, because to be a true master, which is your goal, is to master self. To be a true master, you must master the physical and the spiritual, not one over the other, both. That's what makes you a true master. Not becoming an ascetic, going up into the mountains and hibernating away from society and interacting from people, because that's only one means of many times escaping your pain, your wounds, your trauma, your issues that you've never focused on or dealt with. That shadow side of yourself that keeps wreaking havoc in your life. So a Sith must ground themselves in this reality, but at the same time, you focus and contemplate upon your true self or your higher self or your demonic self. That is the goal or purpose, but also staying grounded. We should strive always to be productive members of society and work hard to excel at whatever job you have or means of living that you have. Why? Remember, one of the things that Sith strive on or live upon is to cloak themselves in society, to not be seen so much in society, to be looked upon as just regular people of society, but all the while behind the scenes, they are working in the darkness. They're working to master themselves, and they work with other Sith to become true masters of the dark side. Remember the movies, especially Star Wars 1, 2, and 3, particularly Star Wars Part 3, Revenge of the Sith, when Darth Sidious is finally, listen, it took 3 episodes or 3 movies, which was years, years of the Star Wars saga time. It was 3 movies that it took for the Jedi, who's supposed to be supreme in the Force, to even figure out that Darth Sidious was the Emperor, or would become the Emperor, but he was actually the Sith they were searching for all along, who was behind the scenes manipulating the Senate, the Jedi, and everybody else. That's the power of a Sith, is never totally let them know what you're about. Veil yourself in the public by being a part of what is considered society, but all the while you are basically cloaked, but working in darkness behind the scenes. Keep that in mind. It's not about, okay, well, I'm in this path now, so that gives me an excuse to just be super spooky and fail in society. No. If you really want to master yourself, you should strive to be a master of everything. That includes your job, your career, or anything else. Why do we say that? Well, far too often, too many people get caught up on astral travel. The problem with getting caught up on astral travel is they have not done enough work on their subtle body or their subtle bodies to even take or travel in the astral without some occurrence affecting them in an adverse way. You should have focused greatly on your subtle body before even traveling in the astral realm, meaning mastering your chakras, meaning working on that kundalini, meaning working on the psychological issues that are embedded within your subconscious mind before you even begin to astral travel. But what happens is people sometimes jump past that basic root or groundwork, the root chakra, and they jump to the crown and they want to be deep and profound, and they start to astral travel. Now what happens is they get caught up and addicted to the astral realm because what they feel is that they're superior in the astral realm. They're able to create. They're able to be a top-notch person in the astral realm. They're able to affect things in the astral realm. And they become chief head honcho in the astral realm, but then here's the disconnect or the problem that takes place in this physical reality when they come back. The problem is, if you're able to affect and do all these things in the astral realm, then why the hell can't you use that power that you've gained and learned in the astral realm to affect your physical existence here? Meaning, if you are a master of traveling the astral realm and you're working at Burger King, you mean to tell me if you're a master of the astral realm, you can do all kinds of things, you have your own spaceship and all kinds of other stuff, that you can't affect your boss or whoever else to raise you up to a level of a manager, general manager, regional manager, president, a vice president, or president of your company by now? But you have the abilities to do all these profound works in the astral realm? That's a serious disconnect from reality, which Sith do not disconnect that part of themselves from reality because they understand they must survive here too. So for all those who then start to utilize, oh, well, this world's an illusion, this world is a dream state, then how much of a dream state is it that if you walk in front of a moving train, you're going to feel it and then cease to feel it and then translate to another existence that if you have not prepared for it, don't know what's going to happen next. You don't know. So this is the realities we have to start facing. It's about grounding yourself, but also mastering the various aspects of yourself. Number 17, Sith believe in life after death. We know that once created energy can never be destroyed. It can only be changed. The spark that is the soul upon death returns to the force. Perhaps it will again wash up on these shores, perhaps on different shores, or not at all. There is no true way to confirm until you actually go through that experience for yourself. Regardless, we know that true immortality is found in etching ourselves into the minds of those around us. Meaning, what is your legacy that you leave behind after you cease to exist? Will you become a nameless person once the last person that is living has you in their mind and they cease to exist, is that the last thought people have of you? Or you etch yourself and create a legacy that lives long past your life and people speaking about you hundreds of years later? That's immortality to a Sith. In ancient Kemet, they also believed the same thing. This is why they made their legacy last long. This is why they also created mummies, and they also created hieroglyphics so that that legacy could live on. And it's tens of thousands of years later, and we're still speaking about ancient Kemet. We're still speaking about the Mayans, the Aztecs. We're still speaking about the ancient Dravidian societies and civilization in India. To this day, we still speak about those societies and cultures and those people who left an indelible effect and profound legacy in those societies. That's what it means to be immortal as a Sith. Therefore, we strive to make ourselves legends to never be forgotten. The tales of our lives should be retold for generations after we're long gone. Nothing is gone that is not forgotten. Let me say that again. Nothing is gone that is not forgotten. Okay. Number 18. Sith Lords do not but use the Force. We command it. We wield it. We command it. See, this is the problem when you may have come from the right-hand path mentality, where everything is about becoming one with everything. We're all united. We're all together. Love everything. Everything is one, all that jazz, right? You just can't control nature. You must be a part of nature and work with nature and flow with nature. Listen, bullshit, okay? Sith don't believe in that. We believe that you have the power through your immortal mind to command anything at will. And the more you work on yourself, the more you will find that that is true, that you have the power to command things at will. And we do so to ever increase our strength and knowledge. The stronger we are in the Force, the better suited we are to attain our goals. Number 19. This is a juicy one. Compassion is not a weakness inherently, but the key is this. Compassion without discretion can become a weakness. We Sith are creatures of passion. There's nothing wrong or weak in giving one's love and care to another, so long as your love and energy are well spent on those who are truly deserving. Stop giving your love in all the wrong places. Listen, I can't stand country music, but that's one country song that I will play to the end of time. Looking for love in all the wrong places. God damn it. Stop it. Only give your love or energy to those who are truly deserving. Stop feeding your energy to those who are not worthy of what you bring to the table. We must never waste time with fools or those who would seek our undoing. Sith believe in justice. Whatever justice is to you, that's what justice is. Not what society says is justice, not what religion says is justice, what you, as your true God demon, are the one individual who determines what justice is. And no one can tell you otherwise. This is what you consider to be justice to you based upon your studies, based upon your growth, and based upon your experiences. That's what you create to be justice. 21. Sith believe that if we first strengthen ourselves, we are better suited to lend our strength where there is need. Right? Meaning, there's nothing wrong with helping people if they're deserving to be helped. That means you don't just hand out money because a person's begging. You got to kind of activate those intuitive senses to really sense if this person is needing. And please don't give me that religious bullshit and say, well, who are you to determine if they need it or not? I'm fucking God. That's who I am. And I determine what I see fit. Not you, your religion, or all your bullshit that you believe. You, as an individual or your own God, you determine who you see is fit to receive your blessings. Stop letting people convince you that you got to go by this tradition, this religion, this society standard, these morals. You create your own. And I'm going to keep harping that the rest of this evening till we really get that. To effectively bring the fight to our foes, we must ourselves be stronger than the opposition. People think that it's all peaches and cream. Oh, I'm into magic. I'm into witchcraft. I do all this, and we're all just harmonious and in tune with nature. Bullshit. If you know, like I know, and Demetrius can verify this, covens, some covens straight hate each other in witchcraft. Okay? And they've been hating each other for many hundreds of years, thousands of years to this very day. Okay? Stop thinking just because they're down with the same shit you into that they your best friend and buddy. They not. They could be your worst enemy hiding behind the scenes to tear you and your coven, you and your Sith order or anything. They want to tear it apart. And they'll come in any disguise to get it done. Open your eyes and realize you must always be stronger than your opposition. Only if we have the strength and willpower within us can we do any good in the world at large. Okay? Serve yourself first. Serve yourself first always. And then when you master yourself, you could assist others in the process of self-mastery as well. Sith are dedicated beyond all else to our personal mission in life, in our path. The path of the Sith is a means by which to discern our personal mission in life. Once we find our mission, we must hold it steadfast and without falter. To deny one's path or one's mission is to deny the self and is only a road to failure. Once you find, once you feel in your whole essence, your spirit and soul vibrate to such a high degree when you find that path that you feel is your calling, work it without falter. Consistency. Work it with consistency. Be passionate about that path that you're living. And if you don't, then your failure is your own for lack of your passion, that lack of dedication and consistency. The Force is always with us. And we must always be mindful of its influence. Being a student of the Force, and especially being a Lord of the Sith, we cannot afford to fail to see where the wind blows. The Force affects all things, and we must strive to train to be aware at all times. Being a Sith is not something we do. This is not cosplay. This is not reading comic books and watching movies. It is something we are. It's not something we do. It is something we are. It's either in you or it's not. Sith believe that there are places on the earth where the Force is stronger. We call these places the nexuses in the Force. For example, the pyramids. And right away, most people, when I say pyramids, their mind goes to Kemet. No, we have pyramids right here on this side of the world, North and South America. There's pyramids all up and down North and South America that are ours, that we should be utilizing and tapping into, but we always focusing ourselves further away. Yes, our origin comes from there. Yes, that's a great civilization and empire, but we also forged this empire here, and we have centers of power for the Force in those locations. I've actually been blessed to go to the Mayan pyramids in Belize. Actually, I have pictures that when I was there, went up to the highest pyramid in that area of Belize. And let me tell you, you can feel the Force. You can feel the energy. You can feel the serpentine energy emanating from the earth, rising up through the pyramids. You can feel it. Let me tell you why I say that, because I'm not one to just philosophize, okay? I'm not one to just teach. I go and get my damn experiences by traveling. I've traveled a lot of different parts of the world, a lot of different countries, and I'm traveling very soon again, because I feel that one of the best ways to educate yourself is to travel. Then not only are you educating yourself, you're also empowering yourself, because you're able to see artifacts. You're able to see buildings and edifices that still are standing to this day. You'll start to understand things on a greater scale. These are the sacred places of many people and cultures. Legends, lore, and strong emotions, as well as the natural flow of the earth itself, have made certain spots more conducive to the Force. These nexuses are but keys that unlock further potential in the gateways of our minds. When one of these places are discovered or known, we should never fail to meditate at them and take proper advantage of what it is that is going to be revealed to us. I was able to meditate on that pyramid. I learned a lot that day. Learned a lot. Number 25, a Sith Lord is a keen observer. Always observe your surroundings. Not only observe your surroundings, more importantly, observe your own damn thoughts. Observe yourself, not just your surroundings. Always observe the thoughts going on in your mind. A Sith Lord is a keen observer and believer in the laws of cause and effect, not karma in its religious context and bullshit that has been used to dupe and control the masses to make them feel hellbound in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Cause and effect, the simple science of cause and effect. Okay? Like I've demonstrated before, if I put this water at the edge of the table and I leave it there and it's not properly balanced, what do you think is going to happen? Well, the goddamn thing is going to fall. Is it a punishment? Is it you're going to hell kind of punishment that people try to pass karma off as? No. It just means my dumb ass didn't properly balance this here. So what do you think is going to happen? Eventually, law, cause, and effect says it's going to fall off. Okay? Anyways. We know that from nothing comes nothing, but with effort and dedication, we can attain our goals. The Sith must be aware that thoughts, in a sense, are things, and we must be mindful of what we forge in the Force. What we forge in our minds can become reality for good or ill will. The battle cry of the Sith is freedom. Your own personal freedom from the chains that bind you. And those chains that bind you, more often than not, are self-created chains that still bind you to this day. Battle cry of the Sith is freedom, and while we should support freedom, don't ever trust politicians. For in their games, they lie quite often. It's politics is a cesspool. It's a game they play, and more often than not, their rule will fail. Don't get caught up in the politics game. Most of y'all know that, but it's always a good reminder. Number 27, while mindful of the whole of the Force, the Sith knows that his or her true power is in the dark side. It's in dark matter and dark energy. It's learning how to utilize dark matter and dark energy when you work your sorcery to create your reality. The power of the dark side of the Force is the ability to cut through lies and sanctimonious rubble that ties us down and binds us against what is right. What you determine to be right according to you. Our anger and hate, our rage needs to be focused always against following the way of assumed pity upon those tidings that do not deserve as such. No lie should be allowed to be enthroned, no falsehood glorified to shield the weak of mind and spirit. Always tell your truth, regardless what people think. And more often than not, you will be hated for it. But there will be many that love you for it too. But either one, it doesn't matter, because the only true purpose of it is that you feel right within yourself. Number 28, Sith Lords must be aware of disturbances in the Force. Force is within us, and thus we are connected to all things that the Force is to within. This is to say we are linked, whether we realize it or not. If we attune ourselves to feel the disturbance in the Force after disaster or loss of life, the better we become at sensing the disturbance prior to the event, giving us the potential to avoid it. I'll give you an example. Have you ever felt loudly speaking within yourself, don't go down that damn street, don't drive down that street, don't walk down that damn street, that shit was so loud talking to you so clear, and you still ignored it, and when you did the very thing you heard not to do, you ended up in a predicament? That's what the Sith try to avoid. They try to tune into that part of themselves where it allows them to be prepared before the event ever happens, so you just avoid it altogether. We as Sith must laugh, rejoice in life, and have a good sense of humor. Stop being so serious. Stop being so damn uptight. Learn to joke around, learn to laugh, learn to love the things that you want to love. Learn to partake in the desires you seek to partake in with restraint. Just have some goddamn fun. While our mission in life is serious, no one should take themselves so seriously as failing to laugh at oneself. Humor is a potent weapon to combat sorrow, and we should not fail to use it when we can. There is strength in joy, therefore let us be joyous. Now listen, far too often when people start feeling depressed, heartbroken, and everything else, they make the shit even worse upon themselves because they start listening to slow music, they start thinking about all the bullshit, the great times they had with a person, and all of a sudden, oh, now I'm just even worse because they're not in my life anymore, so they make it worse. The greatest thing you could do when you're feeling like that is watch some comedy. Watch some comedians, watch some funny movies, do something to bring laughter about, because it starts to heal whatever emotional pain you're feeling. Don't sit there and make it worse. That's just not what you do. That's the worst thing you could do. But yeah, people do it so often because we're so programmed by movies and television to sit there eating some ice cream. Woe is me with a blanket around me. This guy left me, he dumped me, or this girl left me. No. Please, stop it. Number 30, Sith trained to reach oneness with self. understanding that this oneness is our tie to the force. Our will should be dedicated to becoming one with the will of our true self. Not that we are subjected to anything outside of ourselves, but to our own true will, as the God you are, as the demon you are, daemon you are. Only when we are one as such will our actions be true. We Sith, number 31, we Sith are part of an order. We know that our weakest link is the downfall of us all. Therefore, we strive to strengthen our brethren and sisterin with the words of our truth, and we hold this dear. Even as we must be each in ourselves rare individuals, we need always be mindful that when we come together like Voltron, we are part of a bigger whole that can affect things on a greater scale. We Sith share a heritage and a lore. We have chosen our dogma, or in this case, non-dogma, and our own path. All right? Now, 11 Sith rules that we're gonna, for those who are gonna seek further on this path that we live by. Do not give your opinion or advice unless you are asked. That's number 1. All right? Keep that shit to yourself. If it ain't some shit to build and grow, keep that shit to yourself, okay? Do not tell your troubles to others unless you are sure they want to hear them. Stop burdening people with your bullshit. When you go to another person's domain, home, house, apartment, whatever, show him or her respect, or else don't even bother going there. Because you're in their kingdom. You're in their realm. Don't do that. Because I know plenty of people who've done that before. It's one thing Sith don't play. You cross that line of disrespect, we taking you out. If a guest in your lair annoys you, you have all right to treat that mother effer cruelly and without mercy and kick their damn asses out. Do not, and this is important, people, do not make sexual advances unless you were giving the go-ahead to do so. Mating signal, or someone's feeling you. You know this. Don't be assuming or guessing and use some spiritual crap. Oh, sister, you're in my mind. I heard you telepathically tell me. Fuck that. No, sorry. Unless they gave you the go ahead, don't make sexual advances. You're setting yourself up. Acknowledge the power of the force if you have employed it successfully to obtain your desires. If you deny the power of the force after having called upon it with success, well, you may just fail again. Do not complain about anything to which you need not subject yourself to. Do not kill only in self-defense. You should not go out there and just say, I'm going to kill anything and everything. That's not what we do. Same movies, goddammit. Self-defense, protect yourself by all means, okay? When you're walking in open territory, bother no one. If someone bothers you, ask him or her to stop. If he or she does not stop, destroy their asses. All right? Keep that in mind. Now, let me go over the Sith Sorcery real quick, real fast. Actually, no, yeah. We'll go over it real fast, and I'll go back to that. All right? Where is this? Give me a second. All right. The first key of Sith Sorcery is desire. Your desire should be so potent, so strong, that if you don't see you will obtain that desire, it can cause emotional pain, physical pain, all kinds of stress. That's how strong your desire should be when you're working your sorcery for that which it is you want, the result you want to see. Your desire should be that strong. It should be so strong that it can cause you to shake. You can feel agony. And when your craving is so strong for that which you desire, then release it into the cosmos, the universe, nature, with orgasmic delight, knowing that you have manifested your will. Second is timing. Always time when you're going to do your ritual. If your ritual is, let's say, you want a raise at your job from your boss, and you know your boss gets to work at 9 o'clock, most likely my boss is asleep at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. My ass should get up and do a ritual at that time to plant the seed in my boss's head. That's called timing. Perfect timing to do your ritual. Sorcerers know when the perfect time is to do their ritual. All right? Imagery. You should have potent imagination and visualization skills. You should be able to clearly see that which you desire. A car, a job, traveling to a location, an individual you would love to date, or whatever. Clearly see it in detail. All right? So, direction. Always have a direction where you're going to send your energy, which should be towards the desired goal. And send it like an arrow with flames on it. Shoot it in the direction in which you want it to go, to the individual, to the task, to whatever it is. Shoot it with pinpointed direction. Harmony is the fifth key, which is also saying be real to yourself. All right? Don't do rituals on unrealistic things. Be realistic. If your ass is working at 7-Eleven and you want $10,000 by tomorrow, be realistic. I'm not saying it cannot happen. What I'm saying is be realistic. The opportunity for you to make $10,000 may not presently be there, so be realistic about that. All right? That's very important when working sorcery. All right, so let's take questions here. All right, let's go. Demetrius.
Alrighty.
What's up, brother?
Well, just dovetailing on what you just said about realistic expectations with your sorcery. Yes, working at 7-Eleven and wanting $10,000. Okay, well, it can be possible if that's within your mental, your mental reach. A lot of people do their work and nothing comes out of it. Why? Because it's all up here in the head, but it's not down here, like in their space. So you might come out of your mouth, oh yeah, let me manifest this 10 grand, but you're inside, you're like, what are you, stupid?
Exactly.
So it doesn't happen. They're cockeyed. But as when you had mentioned earlier about covens and whatnot, a lot of those folks do crack me up. They're nature faith. No, they're not, because they don't have a clue what nature is. Nature isn't all roses and fairies. Nature is predatory. Yep. They miss that part. So they don't fully understand that. And then they get into those, pissing contests. Usually it's the women that's really bad with a lot of those groups. They do each other in, sleep each other's men, then casting crazy ass spells and all kinds of dumb shit. You know, it's pretty wild. But yeah, I like this. This is interesting stuff.
Cool. Appreciate it, Demetrius. Aurora 16. Sister Storm, what's going on?
No questions yet, but I'm enjoying the discussion. So thank you.
All right, you got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Necro Cannon. Oh, here he's rubbing his hands. He must be ready to go. He must be on fire with it. Go ahead, Necro Cannon. What's up, brother?
There we go. I had to unmute myself. I want to say great topic as usual. I also want to say in regards to staying grounded in reality and making sure that you're not going off to space cadet field. In regards to your magic, from what I've learned, yes, you have to be realistic on what your perception is and what your avenues that you have available to you, so you can put in the work to apply what's needed for it. And in regards to the rest of the classes that will come, I can't wait, and I'm just doing my homework as I need to. So I'm looking forward to it. For the other individuals that are going to be joining the class and with the class, it's going to be worth your time, and it will test your own personal limits. So just be prepared in order to face that. And if you honestly have any bit of failure or the like brewing anywhere within you, or even if you have the thought about it, you might want to eradicate it before you start taking on the test. So that's all I have to say.
And one thing people always remember this: a master has failed more times than he or she has succeeded. Always remember that. They failed more times than he or she has succeeded. So do not be afraid to fail, because through failure, you get the experience and learn the necessary steps to succeed. Secondly, Ken, I know you're not able to go into description, but just quickly or briefly tell us, was challenge 2 a little challenging for you?
In respect to previous classes and the like, challenge 2 was not that difficult for me because of having to do it beforehand in previous classes. Now beforehand, back in previous classes, yes, it was a little bit challenging because you had to hold a position, hold yourself. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. But yeah, it was a challenge that helped me to be able to do it for much longer, and in doing such, now I can do a lot more with concentrated thought than what I was able to do beforehand, and do it conscious wise. So I'll just say that.
Cool, appreciate that. Challenge 3 is gonna be even more of a doozy. All right. Appreciate it. KG. Hi.
Hello.
You look like you were binge watching something over there, KG.
No, I was writing. I was taking notes and stuff. I don't have any questions. I'm just enjoying the lecture. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. All right, going to JR. JR, the man who's always traveling somewhere. Let's see if JR is there or if he's still traveling. JR, are you there?
What's good? All right, here I am.
All right. Any questions?
No questions. This is a very good good class on the Sith. I see it's challenging, but it's very
Okay, you got muted for some reason, JR. So
problems with my audio. No questions though.
All right. All right, brother. Appreciate that. Yeah, his audio is tripping over there.
All right, hello.
Okay, yeah, hold on.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I had an incoming call.
All right.
Yes, but no questions. This is a good class though.
All right.
Class.
Appreciate that, brother.
A lot of discipline.
All right, cool. Thank you. And you, by the way, you're upside down now. So, all right, cool. Hermes Axis, you're next.
No, just basically, I mean, been enjoying the show. You know, a lot of things that are relative. You know, sometimes, you know, even when you know you're walking on this path and you know you're experiencing these things, you know, and then you get to hear it again. You know, it's always a good refresher just to see. You know, it monitors, you know, where you're at. You know, and either how much you achieved or you know what you need to work on more. And you know, I definitely appreciate that. You know, even when it comes to you know, like more in my life personally, you know, when it comes to like explaining to people, like you said, you know, understanding like your truths. And when other people have to hear that, you know, not everybody's going to be happy about that because I mean, you see it for what it is, but you know, a lot of people do want things sugar coated for them. And that's really not the way that it's going to be. And sometimes like, eventually it may be too late, but they need to realize it. And then one day, you know, they're going to come to that point where they heard it from. And then they're going to be like, you know, I heard this before, you know, but just being able to be, you know, truthful within yourself and being able to provide that, whether, you know, other individuals don't want to hear that or not, you know, it really monitors where the level is. And, you know, sometimes, like you said, with giving people too much and, you know, other people out there loving the ones that, you know, aren't giving that back in return and not reciprocating that same energy, then, you know, it does become wasteful. You know, I mean, you give the opportunity maybe more than once, you know, if that, but you know, you really see where a person stands and, you know, you can't give yourself away because, I mean, that's not right. But, you know, it does remind me a lot of, you know, the Luciferian principles as well, you know, when able to establish, you know, just, you know, like self-mastery, you know, self-deification of self and just being able to overcome these obstacles just to become a greater person. So I definitely appreciate listening in today.
All right, brother. Appreciate you tuning in. You're right. A lot of these principles are all interrelated or interconnected on this left-hand path, whether it's Luciferianism or different aspects. They all interconnect some way, somehow, because the goal or the purpose is self-mastery. And whatever path you choose to take within that purpose of self-mastery, that's what it is. All right? Appreciate it, brother.
No problem.
Smooth T. Hold on. Let me unmute you. Is your phone muted, Smooth T? Okay, there you go. What's up,
Yo,
brother?
what's happening? What's happening?
So,
Man, great show. I started getting into the Sith series, fucking with the Darth Bane trilogy, and it's really interesting, man. Let me ask you, how will taking your classes in particular increase my sorcery?
all right. Doing the Sith Sorcery, we're going to actually, a lot of Sith Sorcery deals with black magic and alchemy.
Okay.
So when you learn that, you're actually going to learn actual rituals on how to either bind things, like bind spirits to you or control spirits. You're going to learn that step by step. We're going to do it all together. I'll actually be demonstrating in front of my altar on one of these classes to come where we can do it step by step together. So we'll all meet up, you know, on Zoom, and then we'll all be in front of our altar. Prior to that, I'll tell you the tools you need for that day, and then we'll go and actually do it all together. I'll show you step by step how to do it. All right? So that's one thing. You're going to get step by step instructions and actual visual demonstrations. It'll teach you more proficient ways to work with spirits or through necromancy. It'll also teach you more proficient ways to use your sorcery to empower yourself for your internal growth as well as your external life. So we're going to go over a lot of those different things when we deal with Sith Sorcery. It also is going to teach you how to use the Sith principles of deception, how to cloak yourself, how to, you know, be hidden but seen to get things done that you want to accomplish, how to utilize the power of mind control to get what you need accomplished in this world, this society. So it goes over into those things, but in-depthly.
Okay. Now you were mentioning that there's no. I mean, there is a level, but like everyone's on their own pace. But will you have to qualify to, see these different type of rituals? Because what if I'm on ritual, exercise number 1, and somebody else is on exercise number 4?
Well, the thing is the challenges. All right, there's numerous challenges, and trust me, whether someone's on number 3 and you come in at number 1, there's gonna be a time where everybody's gonna have equal challenge, meaning they're all catch up to doing a challenge together. The way the challenges are designed is no matter when you start, it comes a point where some of the challenges are very difficult that you will slow down in what you're doing and people will catch up. So in other words, first few ones are easier, then it becomes more difficult. So as it becomes more difficult, which takes you longer, people are going through their easier challenges. That's how we'll all catch up and move forward together to doing through the challenges so that we could get into actual Sith sorcery demonstrations, combat skills, things of that nature. All right? Like, one of the things Necro kind of knows, because he is familiar with martial arts, he's familiar with different things like that. We're going to get into actual how to do self-defense and things like that. It's not just going to be being all, just dealing a lot with the philosophy or spiritual aspect. We're going to do physical aspects to this now. You understand? The actual training, how to actually utilize a dagger or a knife or a sword, or even if you're going to even be given a task of constructing your own lightsaber. You're going to have to actually figure out how to do that. All right? Because there is a way to do that. So you're going to actually have to use your mind scientific. You're going to have to study science. You're going to have to use it to create your own lightsaber. So there's a lot of different tasks, bro.
That sound cold as fuck. Okay. Because I'm in your Vampyre class as well, and I'm interested to see how this is going to all just intertwine. You know what I mean?
Well, see, that's what I'm using the Sith for. I'm bringing all that shit together within the Sith, because what people don't realize is when you really go into the Sith, and you're seeing this, reading the Darth Bane trilogy, right? You're seeing various aspects of vampirism in the Darth Bane trilogy, and you'll start to see it, especially in, what is it, The Rule of Two? The Rule of Two, and then Dynasty of Evil, the last part, right?
Right, yeah.
See it, you'll start to see how he actually uses various aspects of vampirism, okay? How he actually utilizes other life force to actually other life or other entities to increase his own power. You remember when he had, I forgot the names of them, but when he had those creatures on him, right? They empowered him. They gave him energy. They charged them up. But at the same time, they took from him, right? That's vampirism, okay? So we're going to go a lot into things like that, and it's just going to bring all these things together, because the Sith actually have all of those principles that I really teach in these different classes all under one. There you go, the Orbalist. Thank you, Demetrius. It's going to bring it all together. All right?
All right, yeah, and that was pretty tight how in the book, what was her name, Zeno or whatever the name was, she was explaining how the more darker or deeper you got, you know what I'm saying, the more you care less about your physical, you know what I'm saying? So that's why, all the higher ups had all that shit on them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and also remember this, what Darth Zeno was known for. She had the superpower of mind control.
Yeah, she was cold. Remember, yeah.
If you haven't finished the book yet, you'll see how she defeated Darth Bane. But here's the trick that people don't realize, yo. Darth Bane was never really defeated, because he actually passed his consciousness into another entity. All right? But anyway, that's another story for another day.
All right. Yeah. Appreciate it, man.
All right, brother. All right, and last is Lennar Airy. Lennar Airy, are you there?
Yes, I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes. How you doing, Lennar?
I'm doing good. Thank you. I don't really have any questions, but I did love 2 points that you mentioned. The first point as in when it comes to loving people, you just don't love everybody. And then the second point was, you know, you speak your truth without caring, you know, how the other person may take it, especially if you know you're right and you know that you're calling them out on their BS. Try not to curse or anything. But other than that, great show. No questions.
All right. Appreciate that. Yeah, and that's true. You always gotta always speak your truth, regardless of how the other person may interpret it. Because what happens when you don't speak your truth, it starts to affect your throat chakra, because your throat chakra is your expressive chakra. And many of us have congested or backed up or problems with our thyroid or things of that nature because of our chakras being basically blocked. And then it has physical effects that we then start to feel years later. So a lot of that is a result of not speaking your truth. Always speak your truth, regardless how the person interprets it, regardless of how they take it. You can't dumb yourself down for other people. We've done that too long, far too long for other people. We dumb ourselves down just to make them feel comfortable. Well, guess what? We're not all on the same level, and you should not have to dumb yourself down just to make a person feel comfortable. If you are on another level, be so. That doesn't mean you're condescending to people or things of that nature. It just means you're on another level. They got to raise up. You understand? You don't got to always come down. So keep that in mind. All right, so let me wrap this up. Hold on. Okay. KGS, which is a good question. How do we speak our truth and also walk among people undetected? All right. Speaking your truth is a case-by-case basis. What I mean by that is whoever's in your life, whoever you come across, that's, if you choose to speak your truth to those individuals, so be it. Now, don't just speak your truth, and what I mean by that, to those who are unworthy of it. Remember we said earlier, they have to be worthy to even be in your midst. Bottom line, they have to be worthy to be in your midst. Now, the thing is, if they're not, never share your truth, because it's like it says in the good old the Bible, stop casting pearls to swine, right? It's a symbolism behind that. That's been taught in sacred orders for years. Never cast your pearls to swine. So your truth should only be spoken to those who are worthy to hear it. Other than that, the way to exist in society is this. How do you go about undetected? Stop making yourself an object of attention. What I mean by that is this. People tend to get to into the left-hand path and various different systems in the left-hand path, and they start going straight extreme with it. Like they'll become super gothic and all this shit, and they wear the pentagram, and they wear Baphomet and all that shit. Hello, you're calling attention to yourself. Do you understand? And people are naturally going to ask you questions that can be confrontational. And then you get upset. Well, it's your fault, because you're like a walking billboard now saying, look, I'm left-hand path, or look, I'm so dark and mysterious. Veil yourself in whatever you choose to wear without all the extra trimmings and symbolisms and things of that nature. Like for myself, I for years have always been wearing a Yankee baseball cap. That's never gonna change. You understand? Then most of the time when you see me, I'll have either a polo shirt on or some nice little shirt on with some nice pants. I'm a sneakerhead, so I always got the nice crispy sneakers. You understand? If you see me walking down the street, you'll be like, oh, that's just a hip-hop head. You know what I'm saying? That's just a dude who's into hip-hop, whatever else. You're not going to say, that's Ravana Noon, the left-hand path. No, fuck that. You probably won't even recognize me at first, right? Then when you do see me, okay, now you'll know who I am and what I'm into. You understand? But I'm not going to be walking around like, oh, look, my shirt is so deep. And look, yeah, Lilith is on my shirt. I'm so dark and deep. Nah, that's how you veil yourself. the way you've always, your style, your fashion that you've always had, just be that. Just be that, you know what I'm saying? Just be sexy with it, handsome with it, whatever gender you are, just roll with it the way you always have, because the knowledge is already within your head. And that emanates from your very existence. People can feel when you're different. They can feel that there's something different about you. They'll naturally gravitate to you. Those who really want to know will gravitate to you. But when we wear these things in extra outlandish outfits and all this stuff to define ourselves as this, you're not always going to have people with the best intentions approaching you, and then that causes drama in situations that could have been avoided. So I hope that helps. All right, let's see. Where did it say go? Oh yeah, that's right, Smooth T. If you have Scrib does it too. You can listen to the audio for Darth Bane books, and they have it on YouTube as well. If you don't have time to read because you're busy, put on the headphones and just listen to that. It's like reading, but you're listening, and it's staying in your subconscious, because sometimes when you hear it, it penetrates more into your subconscious. So yeah, you can always find that on YouTube. All right. That's right. Like Demetrius said, just look like a common Negro. Stop trying to be so flashy and shit. But anyways. Right. Right. Like Demetrius said, you could go to places. Listen, man, we get so deep and dark and mysterious that we feel like, yo, I can't go to certain places and do certain things. Like Demetrius said, sometimes your folks ask you to go to church. Damn it, go to church with them. That's a perfect place to feed your energy. I mean, feed energy off of them. Because in church, they're all feeding their energy to some mysterious, non-proven entity called Jesus. They dancing, you know what I'm saying, moving around. All that energy's jumping around the church. You should be sitting there like this. Give it to me. Give it to me. That's how you should be sitting there. Because the people are naturally just throwing it out there. What do you think the pastor's doing? Huh? When he's hyped up, you know what I'm saying? And he gets into it and he starts even singing and bringing it. What do you think? He's doing that purposely because he's hyping your emotions up. He's hyping your spirit up. And then he's got the band behind him, and it's like a damn Wu-Tang concert in there, right? And you all hyped up and feeling that. If you know, like I know, you sit there and take it. You know what I mean? Exactly. You take that energy. You understand? This is the thing that we get so high and mighty. Oh, I'm so deep now that I can't do the things I used to do. Nah, fuck that. Do that shit. They don't need to know that you're in there taking, feeding energy, charging yourself up, and walking out feeling all charged up. Just tune out all the stupidity of your Lord Jesus, your personal savior, and all this stuff. Just tune that out. Just feed. That's it. All right. So let me finish off by saying this. So, like I said, this will go up to YouTube, my regular channel, the Black Serpent Clan. Go subscribe to the new channel, Darth Ravana Noon, which is mostly going to be for the Sith teachings. And I'll have the Sith teaching videos there as well. Eventually, the Sith teaching videos will only be on that channel, so subscribe to that channel as well. And let's see, next week, I intend to do a Vampyre class. I intend to do one so that we can finish up with the prana. We can finish up with those techniques and different things like that from vampirism. And so that we can start getting ready for Vampyre class number 2. Vampyre class number 2 is going to be advanced shit. It ain't going to be just the intro. We're doing advanced shit in Vampyre 2. All right, so keep that in mind. So I'm going to have a class for that, most likely on Thursday or Friday. And then I'll probably do another class Sunday. I don't know the topic yet, but I'll let y'all know. And see y'all on Thursday for those in the Vampyre class. And see y'all Sunday. All right, y'all. Dark blessings.